I'm going to review Flamin' Hot Cheetos. Maybe not. Probably just the movie, Flamin' Hot. Although foresight would have allowed me the opportunity to get a bag of Flamin' Hot Cheetos and eat Flamin' Hot Cheetos while reviewing Flamin' Hot. But then I also do reviews in the morning. And as much as I love Flamin' Hot Cheetos for breakfast, I draw the line. It's a bit much. So, this is on Disney Plus and Hulu, although I watched it on Disney Plus just because I wanted to make sure that the audio description worked. So, and it does. It has audio description. Yeah. I don't know. If y'all have Hulu, I'd go with God. I don't know. It's directed by Eva Longoria, and it is the true story of Richard Montañez, who, God, I hope I pronounce his name correctly because I'm definitely going to bring that up later on, who was just sort of a uneducated Latino man who ended up being the brains behind the Flamin' Hot brand, which started with Cheetos. I remember eating Flamin' Hot Cheetos back when I was a kid, and I had no idea that, first of all, conceptually, I was thinking about this movie, and I was like, when is this movie taking place? How old were they? I hadn't even really thought about that, but I was thinking back to my childhood, and I was like, I ate these when I was a kid, and I'm turning 40. So, when did he create this? Because now that I'm watching this film and seeing how they test marketed it in certain places before it went nationwide, because nobody believed in this guy. Well, one guy believed in Tony Shalhoub's character. Tony Shalhoub comes off looking great in this movie, by the way. He's the one that believes that we got something here, and nobody else believes in Richard because he's Latino. And that's sort of where I want to kick off the movie, is I want to be the white guy talking about the Latino experience. So if you signed up for a blind white critic to talk about the Latino experience today, you are in luck, because that's what we're going to talk about. I think Eva Longoria sells herself short here. This film ended up coming across a little bit like The Wonderful World of Disney films that I grew up with, which is fine because I get this. This is all like a throwback type thing. It's like very nostalgic for me, but it feels a little bit like, I don't know, like a Ruby Bridges type of thing. Something that was never meant for theatrical release. Like, at no point did Eva Longoria think, "Ooh, this will be in a theater," and then she just got shortchanged by Disney, or really Fox. I do believe that was a Fox logo that came before the film. So I think it just it doesn't feel like she thought that this film starring Jesse Garcia, who I don't know who he is. He was on the From Dusk Till Dawn TV series. This feels like a film that was written for somebody else. Let me just say that. Feels like this film was hoping that a more recognizable Latino star would sign on to it, and then they didn't. And they were like, well, shit. Who do we go with? So, he's fine. A lot of times, the problem with actors are just that we don't know who they are, and they just need to be given the opportunity to do a film like this and be good in it. So, he's actually really good. It's really weird to see somebody, some unknown actor anchoring a film like this. Virtually unknown, I should say. I'm not going to say totally unknown. He does have credits. Especially considering he's like supported by Tony Shalhoub and Dennis Haysbert, who are known among the cast. So, but I do think Eva Longoria shortchanged herself here on the Latino experience. I think she tried. The film definitely talks about being poor and being Latino, and it does touch a little bit on racism, a little bit on in a very sort of like, we're going to be on Disney Plus way. I was really surprised to hear the term wetback in the movie, because I was like, oh, this one's on Disney Plus, and we used a racial slur. All right. I mean, we used probably the most common, most heard racial slur, but I'm sure there are worse ones, and we use it once. I don't know. I feel like this guy's struggle is probably more well defined than that. You, even when he eventually gets the job, there's a lot of this sort of, you know, get in your place type behavior that is very sort of passive discrimination. We white people seem to be incredibly terrible all the time. There's been a lot of us. No wonder I can't do a review like this, because there's so many people out there like that are just shitty people. Anyway, yeah, it just kind of breezes through it. Like, it's afraid to talk about racism. It's afraid to bring it up. And I think the target demo for this film knows they're discriminated against, and it would be sort of like if The Hate U Give, which was technically targeted at young adults, just never really talked about what it was about. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it just never really talked about how the fact that these characters were black, and it just was about this one shooting that could have happened to anybody. You know, it kind of, it feels like a missed opportunity. I hate to say that we don't, because at the same time, I don't think we all need that kind of deep sort of racial injustice, cinematic porn type stuff where it's just, I don't know, it's not supposed to be there for our enjoyment, but it is supposed to be there for us to think about it. And I just think Eva Longoria, every time she has the opportunity to be in a moment, she tries to make that moment as small and as quick as humanly possible to get up out of it. Like, it didn't mean a thing. Like it was a blip. But if it was a blip, then why'd you bring it up? So I think it was probably important enough in Richard's story that it needed to be a part of it. But at the same time, it doesn't feel like it's important enough to be a part of this film. So, and I think probably, especially for kids who are clicking on this, who are looking and seeing, oh, look, somebody who looks like me, who rose up and did something amazing and awesome, and I'm eating his food, is, I don't know that was necessarily the right choice, to kind of keep dodging it and trying to turn the other way and back out of the conversation and just kind of stay away from it. Anyway, yeah, it felt like somebody was looking at the political climate of today and being like, well, are we allowed to talk about race? I don't know. We should probably take all elements out, but we have a lot of them in there. We can't take them all out. Well, leave 2 of them, and then we'll take the rest of that. Yeah, it's it also overuses narration, if I'm being really honest. I felt like the film really, the fourth wall breaking narration dominates the film. He spends a lot of time making up for the deficiencies in the narrative storytelling by just directly telling us through narration either how he was feeling, what happens in between. It just allows them to get through the story a lot quicker. And we see this guy from childhood till you know how at the end of a true story there's always that so and so went on to land on Mars and become the first man mission he invented time travel. It's always got something at the end where, went on to do this and raised a family, has this many kids, blah, blah, blah. It's all the great things they still went on to achieve at the end. And it has that. It has sort of like the cultural impact credits, which are read by the audio description, which was good. So otherwise I wouldn't know they existed. But I just think that there's a lot of fourth wall breaking and a lot of time skipping, and I think maybe there's a better script version, a better screenplay that could have been written. I don't hate the film. It feels like something where I'm like, yeah, this feels like a Disney Plus film. It didn't feel like something where I was like, ooh, if Disney had just taken a few more, just a little bit more effort, just $1 million more into this film, we might have been able to make a theatrical release. I just don't think this feels like it was not ever intended for theatrical release. It feels like it was always intended for the revival of the wonderful world of Disney. I don't know. It just feels like it's aimed at, it's not a long movie. It's very easy. It's very quick to take in. It does not waste time at all. It's afraid to waste time. It's afraid that if in a TikTok generation, that if it spends way too much time in one segment of the film, that you'll be gone. And it doesn't trust itself enough, and it doesn't let itself dramatically flesh out these characters. Richard has a wife that I feel like we just kind of got slammed into their marriage. And I mean, they were supposed to have this connection, like this, we grew up together, we've always known each other type thing. And it feels so forced and so rushed. Like, because the film doesn't invest in them in the beginning. Even though the film is investing in the beginning of Richard's life and his childhood and showing how, even for a short while, he was a criminal and was doing things that he shouldn't be doing. It shows that he's always got his girl with him. He's always got his wife, and then eventually a family. And I don't know. I feel like they just sort of appear out of nowhere, and we didn't get that investing in them segment. Last year, Hustle was a film that focused a lot on Adam Sandler's character and what he was doing, and he had these sort of awkward moments where he went home and talked to his wife, Queen Latifah, and I thought that was the weakest part of the film, because I didn't think he and his wife had any actual chemistry, because the film never invested in it. And then they went out and they got Queen Latifah, who is just a big name and such a talented actress, and putting her opposite Adam Sandler, just the two of them, just nothing, and it detracted from the film. Here, I feel like it's kind of the same thing. It feels like a relationship that's supposed to be invested in, and it's supposed to be representative of, I went on to do this great thing, but I would have been able to do this great thing without my family behind me. But I don't think we really get that. I didn't really feel that connection between this actor and the actress that plays his wife. So, yeah, it's on the plus side. Like I said, it doesn't waste any time. You're not going to get bored. It moves rather quickly, which is actually a negative for me here, because I wish the film had taken a little bit more time and reduced the amount of narration that it has. And it does have a really charismatic lead that it's essentially breaking out and showing to the world. So the more people that watch Flamin' Hot, hopefully the more roles that Jessica Garcia will end up getting offered down the road. And both Tony Shalhoub and Dennis Haysbert, I mean, they're fine, but we knew they would be. They're in supporting roles, and they do exactly what they need to do. They earn their paychecks. These are not roles that anybody's going to remember, but they do find in them. So, um, Flamin' Hot is worth watching, especially you uh, if you see yourself in the representation. I don't want to say if you're Latino, watch this, because I don't think Latinos should just watch everything just simply because other Latinos are in that. But if you see yourself represented in some light in this film, then by all means watch it, because I think you'll feel that story and it might inspire you. I think there have been a lot of inspirational stories that get swept under the rug, and we don't necessarily end up fully seeing them simply because the film wasn't that big. Nobody really talks about it. I can think about films like Spare Parts, McFarland USA, films that were solid biopics that didn't go anywhere. And I think this probably could be one of those. It's a little bit lighter because it feels like it's intended for, like I said, Wonderful World of Disney. It doesn't want to go as deep or as dark as most other biopics would go. And it's a shame, because a lot of other biopics that have gone there have done quite a good job of being able to maintain both being sort of like Disney friendly and also making really a concerted effort to say something about racism and about the structure of our society and how we, unfortunately, as white people, keep others who don't look like us down. Glory Road would be a really great example of that, of a Disney film that tackled both. It told the true story. It told it dramatically with good acting. It gave you everything that you needed, but it also showed you what life was really like. So, Remember the Titans would be another film that also tackled it. They shouldn't all be sports dramas. I wish Eva Longoria had swung for the fences here, but instead I think she made a film that was fine. And that's my thought on Flamin' Hot. I do like the Cheetos a little bit more. The narration, it's really hard for me to get in on the narration because, like I said on the audio description, because of the narration. So there's so much narration in this that it's like every time he's not speaking like within the context of the film, he's speaking as the narrator. So there's only... I actually kind of forgot the film was audio described in times because it felt like I was going so long without hearing it. But there really aren't places for it to interject, because every time the scene breaks, he's always got something to add in to further advance the film quicker, so that we can, marathon sprint through this film as quickly as humanly possible. But when it did come up, it was fine. Like the little fleeting moments of audio description in this were fine. I don't know. I guess you may get lost, and there may be some things that you feel like are under-described. Just environments, people, places, what they're wearing, clothes. If you're into that kind of stuff and that's what you look for in audio description, they just don't have the time. They're just lucky if they can get in like some little cursory, this is what's going on, this is what's happening here, to try to help us understand the context of certain scenes without necessarily going in full depth on all these characters and their environment. And like I didn't really fully understand the interior of his home, for example. He spends a lot of time at home. I don't know what it looks like, because every time he has to break the fourth wall with narration. So it's a lot. So the audio description here may not blow you away, but I don't really begrudge it, because I don't really see where it could have done more, except to just ignore the talking, which is what that's like the number one thing you're not supposed to do, is talk over the dialogue in the film. So anyway, all that in consideration, I'm going to give Flamin' Hot a B-. I know it seemed like I was going to give it a lower grade, but all in all, I just think it's not really an offensive film, but I see so much more potential in it, and it's that potential that that really hindered it. I wanted more from this, and I love the brand. So I mean, I was excited. I was like, they're making a flaming hot Cheetos movie. What? What kind of world do we live in? This is awesome. So now I need a movie about the guy that made Lunchables. I don't know who that is, but biopic. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And yeah, I have a website, macthemovieguy.com. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at macthemovieguy. You can go to the audio description project, adp.acb.org. It'll let you know what is audio description, where you can watch it. And you can go to the ADNA.org. That's the ADNA.org. And it'll let you know who's narrating your favorite films and television series. I hope you enjoyed the review. Click subscribe and like it if you did. And I will see you guys on the other side.